Your hands shake opening the banking app, not because you're broke, because you know the number's wrong even before you see it. $378 until payday, 11 days away. And you did everything right, budgeted, said no, cut back, but money still evaporates like you're cursed. You're not cursed, you're infected. There's code running in your brain right now. Old programming from childhood poverty, from parents who fought about bills, from a world that taught you money disappears if you don't grab it fast. Every swipe, every tap, every one-click purchase, that's the virus executing. Japan figured this out in 1904, before apps, before credit scores, before the entire financial system was designed to make you feel like you're drowning. One woman created a method so simple it sounds ridiculous, but it works because it doesn't fight your habits. It deletes the operating system that created them. By the end, you'll know exactly which invisible belief is bleeding your bank account dry, how to quarantine it, and how to install the wealth consciousness that financially free people run without even thinking about it. Madison went from checking her balance 43 times a day to building her first $3,000 emergency fund in 4 months. Same salary, different frequency. Madison, 29, elementary school teacher in Austin, Texas, single, living in a one-bedroom apartment, rent $1,250. Salary $42,000 per year. Debt $18,000, student loans plus one maxed credit card from a car repair 2 years ago she still hadn't recovered from. Woke at 4:51 every morning, chest tight, grabbed phone before her feet hit the floor. Bank app $214, 9 days until payday. The panic wasn't new, the panic was home. Checked the app again at lunch, again at 3:18 between classes, again in her car before driving home, 43 times that day, she counted once. Wednesday, March 6, 7:32 at night, sitting on her couch, scrolling Instagram, saw an ad for throw pillows, $18, thought that's not expensive, added to cart, checked bank app, still $214, bought them, felt nothing, checked app again 10 minutes later, $196. That sick drop in her stomach, like falling. Why did I do that? But she knew why. The app made it not real. The number was just light on a screen. Her brain couldn't connect $18 to the weight of actual cash leaving her hand. Digital spending is frictionless, and friction is the only thing that makes your brain wake up. Here's what nobody tells you: your money problem isn't discipline, it's disconnection. Every time you tap to pay, your brain processes it like a video game transaction. No physical loss, no neural encoding of sacrifice, just gone. Japan knew this in 1904. Hani Motoko, the country's first female journalist, watched housewives drowning in the exact same pattern. Money slipping through their fingers, no tracking, no awareness, just fear and shame on repeat. She created Kakeibo, household financial ledger. But it's not a ledger. It's a psychological intervention disguised as a notebook. The method sounds almost insulting in its simplicity, but that's the point. Complexity is where your brain hides from the truth. Step 1. Write your income, by hand, in a physical notebook, not typed, not in an app. The moment your hand moves across paper, your prefrontal cortex activates differently than when you type. Neuroscience confirms this. Handwriting creates deeper neural pathways. Your brain remembers what your hand writes in a way it never remembers what your fingers tap. Step 2. Write your fixed expenses. Rent, bills, insurance, the non-negotiables, see them as ink on paper, permanent, real. Your brain stops pretending they don't exist. Step 3. Set your savings goal first, not last, not whatever's left over. First, treat it like a bill you owe to your future self, write it down, make it non-negotiable. This is the inversion. Most people save what remains. Kakeibo demands you save before you spend. Step 4. Calculate what you can actually spend. Income minus fixed expenses minus savings. That number, that's your reality, not your bank balance, not your credit limit, your actual available money. Now comes the part that changes everything. Every single purchase, every coffee, every streaming service, every impulse buy at Target, you write it down by hand: date, amount, category, purpose. And here's where your brain breaks its own code. When you have to write March 6th, $18, throw pillows, wanted them with your actual hand, your brain can't lie to itself anymore. It sees the pattern, the waste, the self-sabotage. Apps let you forget. Paper forces you to remember. Madison started on March 8th. Bought a $5 notebook from CVS. Wrote her income, $3,200 per month after taxes. Fixed expenses, rent $1,250, car payment $280, insurance $140, utilities estimated $120, student loan payment $150. Total $1,940. Savings goal 250, non-negotiable. Available to spend 1,010. 4 weeks, $35 per day maximum. Week 1 felt like exposure therapy. Every purchase screamed at her in her own handwriting. March 9th, 6:47 a.m. $4 coffee, wanted caffeine but also avoiding making it at home. March 9th, 12:18 p.m. $11 lunch, didn't meal prep, too tired last night. March 9th, 8:03 p.m. $23 takeout, felt anxious about money so ordered comfort food. She sat on her couch that night, stared at the page, $38 gone, one day, for what? Anxiety relief that lasted 20 minutes. The shame hit different this time, not because she was weak, because she could see the operating system. The loop: feel anxious about money, spend money to feel better, feel more anxious, repeat. Week 2, she started asking before she bought, not can I afford this? That question's useless, her brain always said yes. New question, do I want to write this down? March 15th, Target, saw candles on sale, $12, stood there holding them. Imagined writing, March 15, $12 candles, didn't need them, just wanted to buy something. Put them back, walked out hands empty, drove home, opened her notebook. Wrote, March 15, $0 Target trip, chose not to spend. First time she'd ever written $0 as a win. Week 3, her coworker noticed. You seem different. Madison asked what she meant. You're not checking your phone every 5 seconds. Madison hadn't even noticed. She'd checked her bank app twice that day, down from 43. Month 1 review, March 31st. Sat at her kitchen table, added everything. Spent $830, under budget by $180. Savings account, $250 deposited. First time in 3 years she'd saved a full month without stealing it back. But the bigger shift, she looked at her March 9th entry, $4 coffee, because she avoided making it at home. That sentence revealed everything. She wasn't buying coffee, she was buying permission to avoid facing her kitchen at 5 in the morning. The real expense was exhaustion she refused to acknowledge. Month 2, Madison didn't just track, she diagnosed. Created 4 categories like Kakeibo suggests: needs, wants, growth, unexpected. Needs: survival, food, gas, medication. Wants: comfort, takeout, impulse buys, convenience. Growth: anything that invested in future her. Books, gym membership she actually used, therapy, Kakeibo. Unexpected: car trouble, medical bills. The chaos tax life charges you for existing. April spending pattern: needs $420, wants $380, growth $60, unexpected $0. She circled wants, $380, where did it go? Delivery apps, $143, 14 transactions, average $10 each, small enough to ignore individually, devastating when she saw them stacked. Coffee runs, $61, 19 trips. Target just looking trips, $94. Amazon one click, $82. None of it made her happier, it made her numb. And numb cost $380 a month, $4,560 per year, enough to wipe out a quarter of her debt. She made one rule for May: if you can't write it down before you buy it, you can't buy it. Sounds extreme, felt like freedom. May 7th, standing in Starbucks line, opened her notebook. Started writing, May 7, 4:50 coffee, stopped, asked herself why, tired, make it at home, want a treat, you had one yesterday, want to avoid going to work, spending $450 won't fix that. Left the line, made coffee at home. Wrote, May 7, $0, chose future over convenience. Month 5, emergency fund hit $1,400. But the real change, she stopped waking up at 4:51 with her chest tight. Her friend asked her at Sunday brunch, "You're not scared anymore, are you?" Madison said, "Scared of what, friend? Money. You used to look terrified every time we split a check." Madison didn't even realize, the fear just left, not because she got rich, because she stopped believing money was something that happened to her, started treating it like a language she was finally learning to speak. Month 8, debt down to $12,000, savings at $3,200, still teaching, still making $42,000, but living like someone who knew where every dollar went and why. Her principal noticed in September, "You've been more present in class, students are responding differently." Madison, "I'm not worried about checking my phone anymore." Principal, "What changed?" Madison, "I stopped letting my money run on autopilot." Here's what Kakeibo actually does. It's not a budget. Budgets tell you what you can't do. Kakeibo shows you what you've been doing without knowing. And awareness is the only thing that breaks behavioral loops your brain can't see. When you handwrite every expense, you create a mirror. You're forced to see your financial identity, not the one you claim to have. The one you're spending proves you believe. If your spending says, "I don't deserve nice things, so I buy cheap things constantly," that's not a spending problem, that's an identity problem, and no app fixes identity. If your spending says, "I'm afraid money will disappear, so I spend it before it's taken from me," that's not a discipline problem, that's a trauma response. And shame won't heal trauma. Kakeibo doesn't judge, it just shows you the code. And once you see the code, you can rewrite it. Madison didn't become rich. She became someone who thinks like someone who handles money well. And that's the only shift that matters. 12 months later, debt at $6,000, savings at $5,800, sleeping past 5 a.m. for the first time in years, not because life got easier, because her brain stopped treating money like an enemy she had to hide from. Your turns right now. Grab any notebook, doesn't have to be special, just paper, just pen. Write today's date. Write one question: what money belief have I been running that I didn't choose? Maybe it's money always leaves. Maybe it's I'll never have enough. Maybe it's spending is the only thing that makes me feel alive. Write it, see it, and then ask whose voice is that, mine or someone else's from my past. Most of your money struggles aren't about money. They're about beliefs you inherited from people who were scared, and you don't have to carry their fear anymore. Today you rewrite the code, one notebook, one purchase at a time, one honest sentence about why you're really spending. You don't need more money, you need different programming, and that starts now. Comment reprogramming if you're deleting the old code today. If you're the type who refuses to let invisible beliefs control your bank account, the video on screen shows you the exact protocol to build financial consciousness in 30 days using nothing but awareness and a pen. Tap that like button, share this with someone still running on inherited fear. Subscribe because every week I bring you the mindset shifts that financially free people use without thinking. Become a member for exclusive deep dives on rewiring your financial operating system from childhood trauma to wealth consciousness. Drop in the comments, what's the one money belief you're challenging today? Let's reprogram together.